All right, let's look at a couple of quick things before we get out of here. I just wanted to quickly go through Baggs' article on the roster. So he broke it out and he basically said, look, like this is going to change. Like last year, the Giants, had a specific squad that they were going to take to New York. And then all of a sudden,
Oh,
it
well,
was,
we have breaking news.
uh-oh,
Blake Snell is signing a 2-year, $62 million deal with the Giants.
get out of here.
That is just reported by Underdog MLB, and they're usually the first on this stuff.
Okay.
So there we have it. There we have it.
I just said get out of here as if like I was upset at you or something. I just
2 years, 62 million. I would imagine that's a 2-year with a 1-year opt out.
Yeah, and I did see that Alex Pavlovich retweeted it. He retweeted actually John Heyman's
Okay.
specific
So here we
news.
go.
Well, now you really see what you got in your two big starters, and you hope Kyle Harrison. You know what? Let's forget this roster talk. Let's save,
Yeah,
let's save the roster
we gotta
talk
switch gears
for
now, man.
next
This
week.
is happening.
Okay, so I'd asked you maybe a couple weeks ago what you thought about Snell, and you were pretty much okay with not bringing him in, and it was because of the money. Now on a 2-year deal, which may or may not be a 1 year and an opt out. Oh yeah, it is. It is. There is an
Okay.
opt out. Um, as a 1-year thing, my point was that if you have a team that you think can compete, Blake Snell for 1 year, it's just 1 year of money.
Right.
And it's not like you're signing him up for 5 years, and would we do it? And I think I was for it. Now, to your point earlier, actually, we've talked about this before where you actually texted this to me. He does leave a lot to be desired, and sort of the good things that Logan Webb does are not the good things that Blake Snell does. He's going to walk a lot of batters, high pitch count. He's not going to go deep into games. He's going to be pretty electric when his stuff is on, high strikeout numbers. But at the same time, the expectation may be, oh, I thought this guy's the Cy Young Award winner. It's not the same as when, Roger Clemens and Dave Stewart were winning Cy Young Awards and having like 10 complete games a year. It's a much different way that he throws. Give me your quick, like off the cuff, reactive thoughts on him being here for 1 year.
I mean, it's going to be a boost. Obviously, it's going to be a boost to attendance. It's going to be a boost to morale for Giants fans, especially the news that Alex Cobb might even start the season with the big club and not in a rehab assignment.
Wow.
It kind of seems like he's even getting closer and closer to maybe missing a start. And since they open with one off day in the first week of the season, that may not even be truly a missed start. So if you're now lining up Webb, because Webb's your number one. Webb is it doesn't matter who comes in. Webb is going to be your ace. And he's earned that, and he's the homegrown talent, and he's number 2 in Cy Young Award voting last season. So now the Giants have number 1 and number 2 from last season. So you're going to go Webb, you're going to go Snell, maybe in the 2 slot if he's ready to go. But Kyle Harrison's been kind of working up to that 2 slot. So maybe you're going to see Webb, Harrison, Snell, and then Cobb. That's a pretty nasty 1 through 4. And then if you get Robbie Ray back to being Robbie Ray in July, now you've got a really nasty 5-man rotation going the second half of the season. So if you didn't think the Giants were serious about trying to make the playoffs, this should tell you right here that this is it. I mean, 1-year rental maybe for him and Chapman to show what they've got and to try to push the Giants into the playoffs. Going to be some pretty crazy, amazing stuff going forward.
So we opened the show talking about how poor the Giants are, just missing some of the easy stuff.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think you have to give them a ton of credit for how this offseason has played out. As it turns out, Aaron Judge and Shohei just did not want to play for us. That is how that thing worked. Why?
Yeah,
We'll have to rebuild and figure out, and then test the waters in a few years to see if we could get the big fish.
sure. Next year, Soto.
Next year is Soto. Yes, that would be a game changer.
Yeah.
But when it comes to sort of the next tier of guys, you got Jung-Hoo Lee, Blake Snell. Like that is pretty darn good work there. And now we got to figure out if Robbie Ray is going to come back. I mean, Robbie Ray's a free agent, but they did trade him with the idea that Mitch Haniger was just not going to really do too much on this team. So
Right.
yeah, it is. You got to tip your hat to Farhan making chicken salad out of chicken excrement when Shohei and Yoshinobu Yamamoto basically tell us no, we're good. And you pivot and you move on, and they did. I think they've done a pretty good job. Look, the Matt Chapman and Snell, they're not going to be around for a long time. So what you would hope is that while you bring in these guys to kind of breathe some fresh air into the franchise, that you're getting Luciano, you're getting Matos, you're getting Harrison, you're getting all of these guys, ready to go. So by the time Chapman and Snell, and maybe they do come back for a year or not, but you want the franchise to be, once you elevate sort of the visibility and all the kudos and all of that stuff that comes from the national media. And when all that happens, you don't want those guys leaving to all of a sudden send you back down. You want the younger players to be there. And also then you go, hey, we're going to get Juan Soto. Like that whole thing is how it works. So for 1 year, we're going for it, and I love it. I just hope this is not like the only year, and then like for the next 2 years they're going to be bad again.
Yeah, it's tough to go all in baseball. We've seen it before. I mean, the Marlins have done it twice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so we've seen the all in work for baseball before, but it doesn't work very often. It works almost like the Phillies 2 years ago. We were just talking about this earlier when you were talking about having more playoff teams, and we were hoping at the trade deadline this would spur more craziness. Well, 2 years ago, the Phillies were on the outside looking in at a playoff spot when they just added another playoff spot, the number 6 spot, and then the Phillies went crazy at the trade deadline, and then got into the playoffs, and then went to the World Series where they eventually lost to the Astros. But still, for that fact, you can go all in, halfway through the season if you've got a team and you're winning. The Giants don't know what they have because you're coming off of last season where you were under 500. The season before you were exactly 500. You have a new manager, although Snell has played for Bob Melvin before, so the familiarity is there, which is nice. I'm sure that was probably part of him coming to the Giants. I'm sure the 62 million was another part of it. But when you look at that and you say, okay, what do the Giants have? Are they going all in? We don't know 100% yet, but at least they're trying. At least they're trying with going and getting Chapman and going and getting Snell and Jung-Hoo Lee. I mean, this is going to be an exciting team. This is going to be more exciting than you remember the last couple of years, Giants fans. I guarantee you that. It's I've already got goosebumps thinking of the starting rotation halfway through the season and what it could be like. So exciting times.
Yeah, and
celebrate.
and you keep saying that you've been really on the Cobb thing about, oh, he's ahead of schedule. Maybe they can actually dial him back a little bit and make
Yeah,
sure that he is good,
sure.
because you have that extra starter now, and you go, okay, maybe we'll go through a couple rotations and then we'll worry about it. Or if he is ready, then he just comes in as the 4, and then you just got to worry about that 5 spot. So
Yeah.
that's
That's going to be a hard part because again, you're still talking about Mason Black. You're still talking about um, Keaton Wynn, because Tristan Beck is
got
I
hurt.
don't know, 3 months maybe. It's going to be a little while, but Yeah, I mean, you're still talking about a younger portion of the rotation, but now you don't have to rely on them.
I mean, and let's not forget Jordan Hicks, of course.
Yeah, and Jordan Hicks. I mean, I left him out. So, yeah, I mean, when Robbie Ray comes back, you're looking at a six-man rotation,
Yep.
and that could benefit you down the stretch as well.
Especially with Harrison not throwing a lot of innings. Snell doesn't throw a lot of innings. You could
Ray
sneak in a
coming off
sixth
of
guy.
Tommy John. I
Yeah,
mean, a lot of factors in that. And also, it's going to be what is Jordan Hicks halfway through the season?
sure.
Who is Jordan Hicks? What does he become at that point of the season? So, yeah, a lot of question marks, but the fallback, I think, the plan B now is not like everybody else's plan C or D. So I think
Right.
that's kind of where it is helpful.